Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Well, welcome in, everybody. It's the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. If you're out there listening or watching, welcome in. I'm your host, The Real Biggie, my co-host, Rob the Ambassador. Before we get into the breaking news, how's it going?
Oh, man, it's going good. We are 1 week from today is Thanksgiving, and then I'm off for 2 weeks after that, and I'm pretty excited right about now.
Yeah, I know this is your annual 2-week break from work, so...
Oh, boy. Look forward to it every year.
Yeah. Well, I just alluded to it, and it literally happened just as we were signing on here. Some breaking news in WWE.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
There have been more releases.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And some of these are like, okay, I get it. But some are some head scratchers. So, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, they have learned that WWE have released John Morrison, Top Dollar, Ashanti Adonis, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Shane Thorne, and Jackson Riker.
I thought Riker was gone a long time ago.
I thought it was too.
But okay, so they got rid of, they brought Hit Row up and got rid of B-Fab, still been featuring Swerve, Adonis, and Top Dollar prominently, and now release them all.
Yep.
Morrison, am I shocked about that? Not really. I thought there was more they could have done with him. He still can get it done in the ring. He had some great matches with Ricochet there at the end, and I thought with The Miz being gone dancing, they would try to do something with him. Some of these other names, like you said, not really.
Yeah,
No
Tegan
shock.
Knox, they weren't doing anything with. Drake Maverick, they weren't doing anything with.
I'm still surprised, though, why they're getting rid of so much new talent. Aren't they trying to kind of reboot the roster a little bit? But they're getting rid of so much new talent. And, in the case of Hit Row, not that I was crazy about the gimmick, but I thought that they had some potential with that faction, and now they're all gone.
Hit Row. Yeah. They up out of there. Yeah, I guess the biggest question is, like, why would you call them up just to let them go? I just...
And what, are they saying budget cuts again, or is this another case?
The reasons haven't come out about this round. Obviously, it's a shorter list, but, it I don't know. I don't know what to attribute it to. It could be budget, could be COVID related, as far as people not wanting to get vaccinated. I don't know. But I'm sure it will come out in the days to come.
Yeah, it would shock me if it's the COVID thing, because, look, I understand if you don't want to get vaccinated because you just don't believe in it, or you've been listening to some conspiracy theorist on the internet rather than a medical professional, which I don't understand. But to lose your job over it, is your stance really that firm that you'd be willing to lose employment over it?
Some people. Some people. Oh, man. But, outside of that, the real reason we came on here was to do our, the usual routine here with a pay-per-view's coming up. No matter how lackluster the build, we do our prediction show. And Survivor Series. Are we still calling this one of the big four, big five? Because they don't seem to give a damn about it. It's in the Barclays Center. It's I watched Roman Reigns on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. I mean, he is if he's going to be the last of a dying breed as far as making a superstar, somebody that can. Well, I guess him and Biggie, because Biggie's been all over the place too. So let me give him his props because he was at the, all the boxing and all that stuff. So let me give him his props too. But those two seem like, because the New Day's been around for a long time, Roman's been around for a long time. I don't think WWE wants major stars anymore. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, you can even flip over to the women with Charlotte and Becky. I mean, when you look at Charlotte and Becky, they're just in another stratosphere by comparison to the rest of the roster. Yes, Rhea Ripley is great, Bianca's great, Asuka's great, but they just don't have that. Well, let's just say Rhea and Bianca don't have it yet. You can even throw Sasha Banks in that category too, I guess, because she has been featured in television shows. She was on Mandalorian, for crying out loud. So she's always going to be a part of Star Wars. But you get my point. It's like these 4 or 5 men and women, and then the rest is like just a lower tier. It just feels like. And it doesn't feel like, as a company, they want to build more stars. And it seems like anybody that catches fire, they let go. Or they change their character, or they change their music, or they change their gimmick, and then people don't want to see it no more, and they wonder why they don't get a reaction anymore.
See, and I'm not sure I agree with. I mean, look, I'm not saying some of the booking has been terrible, but I don't see why they wouldn't want to build stars. That's how you sell tickets. It's how you sell merch. I've always said that while I think there is some decent talent on the roster, I see very few with like that superstar charisma that you need to be a Cena, a Stone Cold, a Rock. And I mean, look, those are generational talents. Those just don't come along every day. But I'm just trying to think of people who I think, even if they booked properly, who I think could like be in Roman's league, or Big E's getting there now. But I mean, I can't even think of anybody else on the roster I think is even remotely in that ballpark. Or even if they were booked absolutely perfect, I can't think of anyone who takes off like that, who I think has that charisma.
I think they would have had it with Cross if they just
Mm-hmm.
left him alone, and if they'd have kept Scarlett with him, that act together, and they would have had to tweak it some, but he had to be more like diabolical and evil. They would have had to like really hammer that home and let Scarlett be the mouthpiece and just let him do all the action. The two of them together could have, over time, been a big deal. I think that was a huge mistake. Keith Lee, you had Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns put Keith Lee over. He's gone. You lost Adam Cole.
Well, Cole, I think, is one who had that charisma. Keith Lee was a big man with great talent. Did he have the charisma?
No, he didn't have the mic skills, no.
Yeah, and I never was a big Cross fan, but I know I was in the minority on that. It's hard, man, because like I said, they need to develop. I'm not saying, look, even if you're saying what is correct, they don't want to make stars. I mean, you have to do something to refresh your roster, and by getting rid of all this new talent, how are you going to do that?
And when I say not make new stars, I say they don't want stars that get bigger than the company. Yeah, so like your John Cena's, like your Daniel Bryan's, like your Rock Austin's. I mean,
I don't see anyone even on the roster who could be like that. I don't know if WWE. Look, let's just say you're right. Yeah, I don't even see anyone with that kind of charisma even getting that kind of buzz. I just don't see it. So I can't blame WWE for that. Now, if you're saying they just don't want, I mean, like what about Roman? What I mean, he's pretty big. Are you saying they're unhappy about it?
No, I'm saying they don't want people to. So when you get as big as Cena, for example, you know, he can pretty much dictate, you know, if he wants to do this or do that, he can, you know, politic his way up and down the ladder because he's him, or I'll walk because if I leave, your ratings are going to tank tremendously. They don't want somebody with the power to when they once they leave, the business is shit, because that's what happened when Stone Cold left the first time. They lost a ton of business and then all they had was The Rock and Triple H, and then when The Rock left, now we don't have anybody. They just want to be in
You got
control
Roman.
of who. They're just control freaks. That's really the best way I can put it. They just want to be in control of who has what, who does what. If Roman leaves right now, hell yeah, it's going to be a big drop off.
Well, look, like I said, you're talking talents that are once in a generation. So when The Rock leaves and becomes a big star, look, Rock is still tied to the company. Cena left. I don't know. I wouldn't say he become a big star, but he's got a nice little career going. He still came back and did SummerSlam last year. He didn't have to. I mean, but he did to help out the company. He didn't just do SummerSlam. He even went on a little tour. I think WWE loves that sort of thing. I don't see why they would not want that. Why would they not want people? We said it about when we were arguing with Book about, okay, yeah, none of us are crazy about Cena, but Cena moves the meter, right? Yeah, he's a part-timer, but he moves the meter. He transcends wrestling. Stone Cold transcended wrestling. The Rock all transcended wrestling. Why wouldn't you want a talent like that?
Okay. And here's where I'll get into that. Because if you and I kind of think of like on this end, if I own a wrestling promotion and television networks are reaching out to me, hey, can we get The Rock for Star Trek? Can we get Batista for Smallville? Can we get Edge for this show? Yes, yes, yes. Can we market Jimmy John's on Brock Lesnar's trunks? Yes. Can CM Punk wear this on his trunks? Yes, yes, yes. They don't say yes all the time. Now, should they say yes to? I'm not saying say yes to everything, but if it's, you know, Ryback talked about, you know, him being denied just being on magazine covers. Why would you take that away? It's exposure. It's what you want. In the 90s, they pretty much told everybody yes. If it gives them exposure in a positive light, go do it. As long as it doesn't interfere with you competing, go do it. Now it's like, nah, we don't really want you doing that, you know. But then you let Rey Mysterio wear Victoria on his tights because it was a partnership. See, that's the thing. It's picking and choosing. It's not, if you really wanted to get and truly make and get as much exposure as possible, you would let these superstars and these wrestlers promote themselves and have all these deals, these partnerships, but they want to control all of that. Obviously, there's some things, I mean, yeah, run everything by the boss. If it's going to make him money, he should say yes. But there's been so many times over the last few years he said no to most people, but yes to some. That's what I mean. Like you don't want, because if I start doing like Adam Cole, for example, I make more money doing Twitch, playing video games, than I do wrestling. You won't let me do my Twitch, but this is how I reach my fan base. This is how I extend my fan base and draw more people into WWE. Now he's drawing more people into AEW. That's what I mean. Stop handcuffing and hampering your talent to fit in this WWE bubble. I mean, all the NXT, I think a common thing I heard from the NXT releases was, or somebody said it, you can't create stars if you want them to all do the same thing. Talk the same way, wrestle the same style, and do the same thing. You're never going to create stars that way. If the thing we talk about all the time with The Rock is, The Rock took risks. Every single time he got a mic in his hand, he took a risk. That's how he got over. It's just, I like that anymore.
Yeah, I think one thing we know about Vince McMahon, if it makes money, it's fine with him. So I think if any, it's like, that's why Brock gets those special. Look, I'm not saying, right, you can't say yes to everybody, but you probably, it's probably a smart move to say yes to Brock Lesnar, to say yes to John Cena, to say yes to The Rock, to say yes to Stone Cold. I mean, he let Stone Cold bring an AEW wrestler, Chris Jericho, on the Stone Cold podcast. He probably wouldn't have done that for anybody else, but Stone Cold, obviously a made man. You know, we've talked about wrestlers made men. So yeah, you can't say yes to everybody. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending WWE, but at the same time, I believe they want to make stars because they want to make money. I guess where I'm at is I just don't see the talent on this roster that some people do. I just don't see that next superstar there. But at the same time, I admit that WWE isn't doing a lot of these wrestlers any favors. You know, Keith Lee, I'm not saying I think he could have been Rock or any of those, but look, man, Keith Bearcat Lee, he was just fine. Yeah, he was just fine the way he was. Talented big man, and even though he wasn't killer on his promos, he could have developed that. But one thing you can't teach is a 300-pound man with agility like that. You cannot teach that. Okay, that's God-given talent, and you should be able to work with that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't get it with WWE. That's why I'm kind of down on trying to spend a couple of $1,000s to go to a WrestleMania. All the talent they're getting rid of, you don't even know what the card's going to look like. They're doing it 2 nights. I'm not ready to invest that kind of money in WWE's product right now.
Exactly. I saw an image. I was getting my stuff ready for the show, and it was a fantasy booking, but it would have made sense. It would have been like a true dream match. Now, we remember that Survivor Series where they included NXT, which was one of the better Survivor Series they've had in a while, probably since Sting was on there. And it was a picture of Big E. No, it was Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross versus Roman Reigns. Now, that would have been granted if Bobby Lashley was still WWE champion, Kross was still NXT champion. Obviously, Reigns is still Universal Champion. So I'm like, wow, that would have been a killer. Even if you threw Big E in there, it still would have been a killer match. That would have been awesome. And it's like, you had every opportunity to do that match, and you just said, nah. Not that Big E versus Roman is bad. I'm just saying, if you want to create a buzz and get people excited, Survivor Series is the one time a year. It's brand versus brand versus brand. Here's your chance to do these matches, and you just don't even capitalize.
I mean, look, even though I'm not a Kross fan, I think that triple threat, that's an exciting matchup. And once again, even though I wasn't a fan of Kross, I definitely was not a fan once he got to the main roster and they started making him wear that mask. And like you said, they brought him up without Scarlett. So, you know, even though I wasn't a fan before, I was even less of a fan after WWE's terrible booking. They did not do the man any favors.
How could you be a fan of that shit? Who in their right mind goes from being the way he was booked to dressing up like, and there's no other way to say it, like an S&M character?
Yeah.
I mean, the straps and everything.
Yeah, here's what I don't get, and I think I've said it on the podcast before, is that you put them in NXT to make their bones. And I'm assuming the reason why they get to, quote unquote, graduate to the main roster is you like the work they've done in NXT, the character they've created, how the character's gotten over. So if you're bringing them up for that reason, why mess with it? Okay. The War Raiders, okay, they were over in NXT. You bring them up, and what do? Well, you change them to that horrible gimmick. You first call them the Viking Experience, and everybody rightfully shit on that name, so you change it to the Viking Raiders. You put them in a stupid program with the Street Profits, who you also brought up from NXT because apparently you believed in them. You terribly booked both of them, and they've done this constantly with these wrestlers. Kross, Keith Lee, you brought them up because they were great at what they were doing in NXT, and then you bring them up in WWE, and you think you can improve on it when what you actually end up doing is making it much worse.
Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense
at all.
Yeah,
at all. Well, it's a good talk. It's a good talk.
Yeah.
But we gotta get to these predictions. Talking Survivor Series this Sunday. I said only 6 matches, and they do this every year where they didn't swap any major titles this year like they normally do, but they did kind of play around with the Raw team versus the SmackDown team, the men's and the women's. Just recently, I don't know if you saw it, they took Aaliyah off the women's team on SmackDown and added Toni Storm, which she should have been on there in the first damn place. Don't nobody even know who Aaliyah is. Nobody knows.
I knew they took Aaliyah off. I saw that last week. I did not know who they replaced her with.
Yeah, Toni Storm. And granted, SmackDown is tomorrow, but they put it on social media today. Like, you have television programming for a reason. You're not giving people a reason to tune in if you put out all your shit on social media. I don't have to watch.
Well, that begs the question, did you see Raw on Monday?
I heard it was awful.
Well,
outside of the Big E stuff.
yeah, nothing new there. But Adam Pearce removed Rey Mysterio from the Survivor Series men's team.
Oh.
And he said for an opponent to be named later, and I don't recall that they ever named, or not an opponent, but a substitute to be named later. And I'm trying to remember if they named it before the show was over. I'm not sure I recall them.
Well, there is still one TBA in that match.
Okay, well, damn, we're 3 nights away from the show. We're not going to have another episode of Raw before. So, are they going to also announce that on social media or on SmackDown tomorrow night?
I wish I could tell you.
Yeah.
This company has absolutely zero consistency in anything. Nothing is consistent.
Or are they trying to save it for the show, maybe making it a surprise debut like the return of the Miz or something?
Yeah, then you gotta watch the kickoff and then tell you all this shit, and you're okay, who really cares? And like they always try to save some little surprise for the kickoff, and it always ends up being some bullshit. How many times is the only time I can recall in the last 10 years where the TBA participant meant something was NXT TakeOver War Games when Kevin Owens came in.
Oh yeah,
as the final entrant. That was the last time they had a meaningful TBA participant, and the crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
Any other time, it's like SummerSlam this past year. Oh, Bianca, Sasha Banks isn't here. Oh, bring out Carmella, who Bianca has beaten for the last month every week on SmackDown. It's just, yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah. All right.
But since you brought that match up first, we will go there. The men's Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. You got Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory versus Team SmackDown. Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and TBA.
TBA.
I don't know why we have to play games. Just it's not going to be anybody interesting. I can tell you that. Well, looking at the playing field, I mean, we had that 1 year where Raw won every single match. But just based on the fact that Jeff Hardy, King Woods, who lost his crown, Happy Corbin is on the SmackDown team, and Rollins, Balor, Owens, and Lashley are on the Raw team. I'm going Team Raw. That sounds like it just looks lopsided as all hell. So, yeah, I'm going to go Team Raw for the men's.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's the team that definitely should win, even with a TBA in there. It would not shock me if WWE somehow pulled this swerve and made that terrible SmackDown team win, but no, I think it's going to be the Raw team.
The United States champion, Damian Priest, going up against the long forgotten Intercontinental champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. I like Priest. There's nothing wrong with Priest, but Lord have mercy if Shinsuke doesn't need a win on pay-per-view, because I can't remember last time he wrestled on pay-per-view since WrestleMania Backlash. Was he on that show? No, he wasn't on that show because he won the title on SmackDown, I believe. So, yeah. No. This is, I want to say, outside of Mania, this is his first match on pay-per-view all year. Outside of the Rumble, maybe, I think. That's just a damn shame. But I'm going to pull for Shinsuke because I just feel awful. He needs to win. I don't think they're going to give it to him, but he just got squashed the other night on the Tribute to the Troop show as well. Just get that man a win. Let Shinsuke get one up. Damian Priest will be all right.
Man, this is terrible. I mean, WWE has taken one of the most prominent titles in the history of the business, the Intercontinental Championship, and made it an afterthought, and made one of the best talents on their roster right now an afterthought, all at the same time. I don't know how they did that, but they did. You're right that Shinsuke does need this win. But I'm going to say that Priest gets over only because he's newer, and I think WWE does actually believe in him. And so this would be a big win for Priest. And he is a younger talent. I mean, look, obviously WWE has shown they don't give a shit about Shinsuke or the Intercontinental Championship. Why should they start Sunday? I'm going to say that Priest wins.
I could very well and very much see that happening. I feel so bad for Shinsuke. He's done nothing wrong.
Yep, I agree.
I don't get it.
Yep.
RK Bro, the Raw Tag Team Champions versus the Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This is actually kind of tough because I think, RK Bro could use the win, but at the same time, Usos, they gotta look strong because they're, I don't know. This is tough. You know what? I'm gonna go Usos, just based on what my pick's gonna be in the main event. I'm gonna go Usos. I'm gonna say Jimmy and Jay win this match, and I'm gonna say this is gonna steal the show. This one right here. I think these four will put on, as long as Randy Orton is on point, in the mood. This could steal the show. So I'm gonna say Usos get the win though, and pin Riddle, not Randy.
Yeah, Show Stealer is a good call for this one. I'm gonna say that the Usos win as well, just because they're the heels and there could be some kind of shenanigans. What I hope we see is that finally there will start to be some dissension between RK Bro. I mean, every week it just seems like Randy is just getting sick to hell of Riddle. So I'm hoping that maybe this will be an opportunity for them to just start planting those seeds of disdain between these two. And I'm going to say that will allow the Usos to win.
Yeah. I'm like you. I'm at that point where I'm just like, yeah, the RK Bro shit was cute for a while. I just hate this whole thing with Riddle talking like an 8-year-old boy.
Oh, man.
And I have 8-year-olds. They don't even talk as bad as he does. I mean, it's so bad. It's bad acting. It's exaggerated. It's just, shut up. You're a grown-ass man. You're 35, 36 years old with kids. Stop it.
Man, I'm in agreement, but he's over with the crowd for whatever reason.
Well, when you're a stoner, and most of the crowd's a stoner too, stoner right along with you. There you go. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. The women got Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina. Versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi. I'm just call it Shotzi Blackheart. I still like that name better. Natalia and Toni Storm. It was tough too because I see women on both sides that could use a win. Like they need to do something with Shayna. They've been doing stuff with Shotzi, which I do like. They got that kind of they'll shoot that angle with Sasha Banks, so I don't know how that's gonna work. They really gotta do something with Toni Storm. She got called up months ago and they haven't done shit with her at all. But when you look on the Raw side, Bianca, Rhea, Liv, Carmella, I mean, that's strong. I mean, just Bianca and Rhea on the same team is strong. So, again, another Raw pick. I mean, the team Raw just looks so much stronger. So unless there's some shenanigans, I don't see them losing. So I'm gonna go Team Raw for the women as well.
Man, this is a tough call for me too. I mean, Bianca and Rhea, like you said, that's strong. Liv, I know they're trying to build her up to be something. I'm not overly impressed.
That's Blake's girl you're talking about.
What's that?
I said that's Blake's girl you're talking about.
I like Liv. I just, I don't really see her being big time. I think she'll get her chance at Becky and she'll lose, but she has that underdog thing going on. Ah, man, but there's so much dissension on the SmackDown side. I mean, you still got Shotzi and Sasha with unfinished business,
right?
And Shayna Baszler, yeah, man. I'm in agreement. I'm going to go with Team Raw just because I think the dissension between, especially Sasha and I almost can't say it, Sasha and Shotzi, I think that will come to head and cause the SmackDown team to lose somehow.
Yeah. I just looked at Top Dollar's Instagram. He says hashtag budget cuts.
Hashtag bullshit. I just don't believe it. And I'm not dissing on Top Dollar. I do not buy WWE. They're making more money than they've ever made. And I understand like there's some suspicion that they're selling the company. But man, I just don't believe budget cuts. I just think it's just their nice way of saying we just don't believe in this talent. I mean, how much money could Top Dollar be making? You know what I mean? They're just new to the main roster. How much money could they really be paying them at this point?
Not that much. I mean, even some of the top wrestlers only make like $500K a year. So if you're just NXT, I believe NXT you would like between 75 and 100K a year.
Yeah.
So you're really not making a ton of money, and they just got called up. You make more money when you're traveling on the road and you're doing house shows and pay-per-views. That's where you make your money, especially the house shows. But when you're not doing those, it's a little tough because NXT they still kind of hold your hand.
Yeah.
There's housing, there's food, there's training, there's all that stuff. So that's why they only make, I think the baseline is 75 coming in the door, which is good money. Don't get me wrong, but you're not making. I think people have a misconception of how much money wrestlers make. Like there is a huge variance between what Roman, Brock, Big E are making versus somebody in NXT. It's night and day.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole different day.
Oh man. Okay. Well, this has to be by far the most interesting match on the entire card, and it should main event in my opinion, just because of the actual real tension that seems to be just boiling over. I hope that they can put that aside and put together a solid or to great match still and do business. I think they will be able to, but you never know. And I'm talking about big time Bex versus who you and Book claim is the GOAT, Charlotte Flair. And there's a lot of eyes on this match because I mean every interview, whether you believe she's selling or trying to put the whole thing over, it's working either way. And there is legit reports about the incident that took place. So in any event, man, this is tough, and it makes it even harder. It's like, who do you put over in this match? I think because of the past, I think they need to book Charlotte as the winner. I think they should book Charlotte as the winner. That's what I'm gonna go with, Charlotte.
Yeah, this is tough. And I have to say, look, I don't know whether it's a work or whether there's real heat here. If there is real heat, I do think these ladies will keep it professional, but I'm just not sure. I think it is real heat. I think this just might be just great
We're
booking,
all getting
taking
worked.
advantage. Yeah, like I said, just taking advantage of the internet. People believe anything they see on the internet. I mean, space aliens landed in Des Moines today. If you put it on the internet, millions of people will buy it, believe it. And I think that could be what's going on here. Now, who's going to win? Man, this is the hardest one for me to predict. And it's funny because both of these ladies are heels. Neither one of them are like crowd favorites. So it could go either way.
Heel versus heel.
Yeah. I'm going to go against the grain here. Even though I love Charlotte and I think she's the best wrestler in the world today, I know a lot of people are just sick of Charlotte. And I think a lot of people would pop to see Becky win. I'm going to say WWE is aware of that. And because Becky did just return back in August, and she is the champion on your flagship show, even though I think SmackDown's the better show, Raw is still considered the A show, the flagship show. Do you want her taking this loss? I'm going to say no. And so somehow, some way, they will have Becky win it.
All right. All right. And last but not least, got the WWE champion, Big E. Big E Langston. Going up against the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. This one isn't hard for me because this is what actually needs to happen. Roman Reigns has gone over a year without a loss. Hasn't been pinned, hasn't been submitted, hasn't been touched. Here's your chance to beat him without him losing the championship, and you really, really, really solidify Big E as a true champion. It won't hurt Roman at all. It's no different than when they had Goldberg beat Brock. It did not hurt Brock Lesnar whatsoever. If anything, it made him more interesting. So, my prediction is that Big E will overcome the odds. There's probably gonna be a whole lot of shenanigans in this shit. Usos getting involved, New Day getting involved. I don't want to see that. I prefer to see the two go straight up, head up, and just have Big E win clean. But it's WWE. So I'm expecting shenanigans. And I also expect Big E to win. The way this whole thing's been booked, also with Usos and Roman beating up members of the New Day, Kofi's out. you know, yeah, Big E is going to walk out as the dominant champion.
Yeah, Roman wins this one. And I think it'll be, I think the damn Usos, as Michael Cole likes to call them, will play a part. I think they're building up Roman to be, I mean, when he gets beat, and man, look, is Big E worthy of beating Roman? Yeah, like you said, the title's not on the line. It really doesn't hurt Roman, even if he loses clean. Look, does it? I mean, I can't say it doesn't hurt him. Anytime you lose a big match, and you're this top guy, it hurts a little bit. I just think right now WWE is all in on Roman, and they just want this dude to keep looking strong, and I mean, when I say looking strong, look, how strong is he looking when the Usos interfere all the time? What I'm saying is
isn't that boring?
It is. Look, it is. Look, we said that a long time ago. Remember, we were arguing with you about he needs to get some wins without the Usos way back.
No, not that part, but just him winning in general and not losing.
Oh, like no,
he hasn't lost.
No, because I come from a day. Look, man, when I started watching WWE, Hogan was champion for 4 years. That got on my nerves. 4 years. He's only been
but champion. He didn't lose any matches in that time, like non-title matches?
He hardly – no, man. Hogan, no. First of all, you have to remember it was different back then. Most of the weekly shows you watch were like wrestling superstars. They would all wrestle jobbers. You never lose to a jobber. And then on the main cards, no, Hogan never lost. Never. So, look, his reign has been, 400 some odd days?
It was 434 the other day. I don't know where they're at now.
Yeah, I'm going to say Roman wins just because, look, Roman's that dude, okay? They're all in on him, but I do think they believe in Big E. Look, the Usos are going to get involved, man. Do we think they're not? They're going to get involved, and that's how Roman's going to win. It's not going to be clean, and so Big E won't look too bad losing, but yeah, Roman's going to win.
Can't wait to see your face when you're wrong.
Hey, look, man, it's cool. If Roman loses, look, he's losing to Big E. I'll take that. Hey, I'll take that. I just think WWE just doesn't want Roman to lose yet. And, just it doesn't really matter who he's wrestling at this point. They just don't want Roman losing. Look, Roman didn't lose to Brock, but he's going to lose to Big E.
He's a champion. I mean, it would hurt Big E, even if there's foolishness, which I get what you're saying. You can do that whole thing where we make him look strong.
Yeah.
Where he could lose and then maybe beat up the whole bloodline after the match. I don't want to see that. I want him to win. We believe in the people that get the W at the end of the day. That's who we believe in. Get the W by any means necessary. Let's get them. Have that Malcolm X mentality when it comes to winning. Okay. Yeah, I not only I need Big E to win this match. It will be the biggest win in his career, even bigger than him winning the championship. This would solidify him. Because, again, it's not going to hurt Roman. I don't think it's going to hurt. I mean, back in the day, they've had champions lose non-title matches. They had Bobby Lashley lose a couple times. They've had, back in the day, when Mick Foley, Triple H, Rock, they were all champion, and they would lose these non-title matches on Raw and SmackDown all the time. But they never lost. It didn't hurt their star power. That's all I'm saying. And it makes them more it's more interesting. Like I said, a lot of people, that time Brock Lesnar went like a year, but he didn't lose. Beat The Undertaker, beat John Cena, destroyed John Cena, should I say. But then here comes Goldberg and beats him in 90 seconds. It's like, whoa. We didn't even think first of all, I don't think anybody thought Goldberg was going to win the match. let alone in 90 seconds. So that automatically made Brock Lesnar more interesting. So to have these two go at it and have an interesting match and have Big E go over against all odds is true babyface heel storytelling. If you're talking about old school, the babyface should go over.
Okay, well, one of us is gonna be like I said. Look, I'll be surprised if Big E wins, but I won't be disappointed.
Hey, one of us at the end of Sunday night will be able to say, "I told you so."
Yep. Sure will.
So we'll see. We'll see. Well, what do you all think? Well, what do you all think of the news as well, the WWE releases? And then do you agree with our predictions? Let us know in the comment sections right below. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share the video. Check out the YouTube feed for all the other content we got on there. There's trailer reactions. I just did a reaction to the new Spider-Man trailer. There's other trailer reactions, more movie reviews coming up. So then we got the rundown and Joker. Once we get all this wrestling out the way.
Man, it just keeps coming.
Trying to do the rundown, right? Trying to do the rundown for a while now. So, and then we got a couple countdowns to get to as well. So, a lot of content coming. Just gonna keep throwing it at you. We appreciate you all for watching, and do your thing.
All right, listeners, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and we're gonna keep throwing this out there as well. Get vaccinated. Have my booster. Let's crush this thing. The only reason this virus is lingering on is because a lot of people decided not to get vaccinated. Had most of us done that, we'd be past this by now. I really believe that. I really believe that. So please, just get your vaccinations.
That's it. Again, we appreciate y'all. Take care, and we will speak to y'all again after Survivor Series.